a recent study done by the Department of Housing and Urban Development was released that reveals that same-sex couples still experience a significantly higher level of difficulty and discrimination when it comes to getting or finding housing for rent or sale than do straight couples. And the author of an article in the Huffington Post Gay Voices blog, Marissa Higgins, related her story about how she found this very thing to be true in her own quest to find another home with her and her wife. They emailed many agencies identifying themselves via email that they were, in fact, a same-sex couple looking for either a one-bedroom or a studio apartment. And this is in New York, mind you. One agent finally met with them after a long time waiting and searching on Craigslist and other sites. And one agent apparently met with them without reading the email carefully, and upon learning that they were a same-sex couple, said, sorry, no, I don't think we have anything that could suit your needs. And promptly
what kind of special? I'm sorry to interrupt here, but what kind of extra needs do they need?
Well,
it's not like they have a dog.
I know. And just previously in the conversation, he was bragging about how there are all these new available units coming in, and we have this and we have that. So what exactly were you looking for? And then he's mentioned that a studio apartment wouldn't work for them because he can't imagine how they would fit 2 beds in. And that's when she explained to him, actually, I explained to you in the email we were a same-sex couple. We only need 1 bed. And that's when he said, no, I don't think so. And then she was like, oh, so there's nothing available? And he's like, no, there's nothing available. And promptly escorted them out.
Wow, that's amazing.
Later, they secured an apartment for a short period of time, but later experienced homophobia from all further interactions they had with management. The author wrote in her article that in spite of signing my emails as Mrs., the representatives of the company referred to us pointedly as Miss. When referring to a voicemail my wife had left, the secretary referred to her as my roommate. When the maintenance man arrived to fix our stove, he peeked around the corner and looked excitedly at our 1 bed. When the electric went out on the first floor of our building and we complained, we had to wait 24 hours for someone to fix it, but the couple directly across the hall from us, also living in a studio apartment, a man and woman, had theirs fixed the very same evening, only in a couple hours. So, and this was in New York. This was in a liberal
New York
area.
Of all places.
And in Massachusetts, later she was looking for a home in Boston, Massachusetts, in a very LGBT-friendly community, she thought, where there are LGBT-related laws put into place specifically to protect would-be victims of discrimination, specifically housing discrimination. And she still experienced discrimination, and she describes that on one return email, the management said, "Thanks very much for writing. I have 2 rooms that I would rent to 1 tenant per bedroom. If you think you might be interested, please let me know."
Oh, come on.
She then replied, "No, I explained to you we're a same-sex couple. We only need 1 room." And the landlord replied very pointedly, "I rent," in bold, 2 rooms on a regular basis, each to a single adult only. I would regard you as 2 separate single tenants and charge you at that rate." The question then becomes, in the author's mind, would the landlord have asked a straight couple to sleep in separate bedrooms, or would she have completely turned down a straight couple? The answer is pretty much no, doubtful. doubtful that that would have happened. Also, it's important to note that under Massachusetts law, a renter has to prove that a room or apartment's infrastructure could not support an additional occupant in order to deny that additional person. Now, the strangest thing about this study is that the study also reveals that in more liberal states like Massachusetts and New York, they're reporting an even higher incidence and higher rates of discrimination than in other states. So my first question is, why would you think that is?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't have a question, or I really don't have an answer, because it blows my mind. You know what I mean? It blows my mind. Why would there be more discrimination against LGBT members in an LGBT-friendly area? Isn't that the point of it being LGBT-friendly, is that they don't discriminate?
Absolutely. And I was hoping to get more people, in on the discussion to get their opinions, but I'll just go ahead and say that I think that the reason for this is kind of an illusion a little bit. It's just a theory, but I'm thinking that the reason that there are more reports of discrimination in these liberal states is because...
you think they're more open about it?
Yes, exactly.
Because it is an LGBT-friendly area, and it's not the fact that there's discrimination, more discrimination in LGBT areas. It's the fact that there's all this discrimination everywhere, and the fact that they just report it more in LGBT-friendly areas,
yes,
so that they can actually have somebody to turn to.
Yes,
okay,
I think that they report it more. I think they're more willing to take it to case, and I think they're more willing to be open about the fact that they're a gay couple to begin with. I think in southern states and very conservative states in general, from my experience, I think that gay couples would be less likely to even report that they're homosexual. I think that they would be more likely to say, we're two people looking for a place, or something like that. And also, even if they were discriminated against and known to be homosexual, I don't think that they would report it as often, because I don't think they would think that they would stand a chance in a court in most of those more conservative states. So they just wouldn't bother.
Yeah, well, like you had mentioned, Massachusetts law says that you can actually go. Well, they actually have protections according to Massachusetts law, where you can actually say that, no, I'm being discriminated against. But there's a lot of places that still don't have laws like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I think that's a reasonable explanation, possibly, for the strange discrepancy.
No, I just think it's absolutely amazing that, I love that the people that was like, no, we only rent out a one-bedroom unit to a single person.
Who does that? No one does that.
No one that I know. It's just kind of weird, but I wouldn't be surprised if some landlords are just weird. You know what I mean? So I could see a straight couple going in there, and I don't see it's too far off, because I'm pretty sure it does happen with straight couples. Like, no, we want to rent it together. No, you get more money out of it. You know what I mean? If you're renting it as two single units to a couple. And it's kind of funny. My wife and I have been looking for apartments lately, and what's kind of funny is that we both applied to this place. I mean, the rental application to this place was 19 pages thick.
Wow.
19 pages thick. You would think we were trying to rent, something really, really fancy, okay? But it really wasn't all that fancy. But 19 pages thick. She got accepted. I didn't.
Wow.
So, and if she gets accepted, I couldn't go and rent with her. Does that make any sense?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
So that's what I'm trying to kind of contrast here, is the fact that there's some just rental places that are just weird.
Right.
With weird rules, and it's strange. So, do I think it's 100% LGBT discrimination? Not entirely. But
That
there's a
particular one I think is a little bit up in the air. It could just be one of those rare, weird circumstances, but definitely the agent before that who basically tossed them out of the door when he realized they were gay, and the management they had to deal with in the apartment they had before. Those two instances definitely were discrimination. The third instance that she experienced may or may not have been, but I would be surprised if it wasn't discrimination.